Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi, my name is Nura Arifah binti Ismail, number matric 280552. I will start our group presentation for risk management for Maybank Berhad. So here, the internal control is first risk governance structure, where Maybank Berhad possess a very clearly established governance structure with clear roles and responsibility. There are 4 stages of structure in Maybank, where the top is board of director, second is there are 3 board of risk committee, third there are 4 executive level management of risk committee, and lastly there are lines defense consists of 3 lines. Second is risk management framework, where here Maybank has created a risk management framework to understand the most restrict to the execution of the group goal, namely humanizing financial service, where the framework is supported by a set of building blocks that act as the basis guiding an effective risk management culture, encompassing practice and process. Lastly is culturist. Culturist means shared set of value, norms, belief and attitude that people in organization bring to their interaction with each other. Maybank Berhad is committed to fostering environment at work that respect and cherish its diverse workforce as well as equality and quality for all employees. Okay, next is objective setting and strategies for Maybank. Maybank has identified 5 scopes, which is customer, investor, regulators and government, committee and employee. Here I will explain just 2 scopes, which is customer and investor. The objective for customer is to enhance customer experience by providing fast, simple, secure and convenient banking service in real time. So their strategies is to continue to develop and create initiative to enhance the digital proposition and advance analytic and strategic partnership. For investor, is ensure sustained earnings and consistent dividend payout, which they need to focus on solid liquidity and capital management to maintain the financial viability and resilience against the unpredictable of macroeconomic event. So that's all from me. Thank you. I will pass for the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Amir Akila binti Putra, matric number 284548. Now I will be present the impact of risk on an organization's objectives, missions and visions. As stated in the annual report of Maybank Berhad, their main objectives are that we are a value-driven platform powered by a bionic workforce that humanizes financial service. The risk can be impede the organization's ability to achieve its objective. First is financial risk. Financial risks such as market turbulence, economic downturns, and unforeseen expenses. Then the strategic risks like shifting market trends and the entry of new competitors can challenge its organization's long-term goals. Therefore, the risk can hinder the achievement of organizations by stalling progress, delaying projects, or leading significant financial losses. Next is organization missions. Mission statement of Maybank Berhad is humanizing financial service. To fulfill these missions, there is some impact of risk organizations mentions such as reputational risk. As one of the non-banking companies, Maybank Berhad need to build a trust partnership for the sustainable. They need to build the trusted partnership for a sustainable future and public trust. By having a negative media coverage, it can damage the organization reputation because they can lose the trust from their partner and public. The ability of the organizations to effectively carry out the missions can be also hampered by risks that affecting the availability or quality of resources, partnerships, and supports. Next is organizations' visions. As shown in annual reports, Maybank Berhad visions is TIGER, which is teamwork, integrity, growth, excellence, and efficiency, and relationship buildings. This risk can hinder the realization of any vision future for the company. The external risk could affect the organization's strategic direction is aligned with the desired future. Therefore, stagnation, missed opportunities, or loss of competitive advantage can result from a failure to recognize the risks that obstruct progress towards the visions. Therefore, the implementing efficient risk management procedures is essential to reducing the impact of risk on an organization's objective, missions, and visions. Therefore, the organizations can safeguard their objective, stay on the missions, and work towards realizing their visions by actively managing the risk. Therefore, the organizations can safeguard their objective, stay on missions, and work toward realizing their vision by actively managing risk. So, I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Siti Nunajah binti Zamri. My matric number is 281621. Now, I will explain 5 significant risks that are associated with Maybank. The 5 risks are credit risk, strategic risk, money laundering risk, market conduct risk, and cybersecurity risk. The first one is credit risk. Credit risk is the possibility that borrowers will not repay their debt, which could result in a significant loss for the bank. Credit risk occur when the bank lends money to people, companies, or other entities. The banks such as Maybank may sustain a loss if the borrower is unable or unwilling to repay the loan or fulfill their credit obligations. Next, strategic risk. Strategic risk is the risk of financial loss brought on by unsuccessful business strategies. Strategic risk develop when a bank makes the decision that do not produce the desired result. For instance, Maybank might make significant financial losses if it invests heavily in a new market only to discover that it is not as lucrative as expected. The third one is money laundering risk. Money laundering risk is the act of passing off the proceeds of illegal activity as legitimate money. Money laundering risk develop when people or organizations use financial statements to transfer funds obtained through illegal activities into the legal financial system, such as drug trafficking or corruptions. If it is discovered that bank assisted in money laundering activities, they may suffer financial losses. The fourth one is market conduct risk. Market conduct risk is the possibility that a banking organization will engage in dishonest practice that could hurt clients and the larger financial system. Market conduct risk can manifest itself in a number of ways, including through deceptive marketing tactics, inaccurate representation of financial product, or the use of predatory lending technique. A banking organization, such as Maybank, may suffer serious financial and reputational harm as a result of market conduct risk. Lastly, cybersecurity risk. Cybersecurity risk is the risk of unauthorized access to a bank computer system. In the context of a banking organization, cybersecurity risks result from both the growing sophistication of cyber threat and the increased reliance on technology and digital platforms for banking services. Banks are prime target for cyber criminals because they hold significant amount of sensitive customer data. For example, in 2021, a number of Maybank customers have lost money from their account even though they did not make any transactions. This happened due to Maybank's weak cybersecurity system, and Maybank lost many clients after the incidents.
Good day, Doctor. My name is Dina Purni Nair and my metric number is 288889, and I'll be continuing my part, which is assess the acceptability of those identified risks by comparing them with the organization risk appetite and criteria. The group risk appetite is a fundamental part of the group's strong risk management structure and is driven by bottom-up management engagement at all levels as well as a top-down board leadership. The ability to convey and evaluate the types and amounts of risk that the group is ready to tolerate in pursuit of its business and strategic goals while taking into account the limitations imposed by a stressful environment is provided by the risk appetite. The group risk appetite transforms their risk tolerance and all limitation into guidelines that are then utilized to measure and assess their risk profile on a regular basis. Maybank has its own aspect of risk appetite aligning along with risk criteria. First up, you're going to see is in within stakeholders, which is customers, where as you can see that is listed above, right from the increased rivalry between banks and non-bank businesses to meet changing client requirements, to the potential loss of consumers due to the increased risk of cyber attacks that result in the theft of personal information and financial damages. In terms of customers, Maybank Group continues to map out customers' priorities and pain points to maintain their customer loyalty and trust towards Maybank. As for the investors, loss of investor trust due to subpar governance, risk management, or financial performance, and also stock ratings and share price performance may be negatively impacted by erroneous financial reporting or interpretation by analysts or investors. Hence, Maybank Group have provided timely and thorough disclosures on asset quality, ESG risk management, and any lingering COVID-19 related risks to repayment assistance, and also provide updates on strategic alliances and investments that are being made to build digital and technology capabilities to keep up with the competition as it emerges, especially as the economic situation is unstable. Moving on to the regulators and governments, continuous review and enhancement of compliance and risk management monitoring tools, systems, and processes are implemented to ensure all compliance and adherence of legislation among the governments and as well as the Maybank Group. As for the communities, Maybank Group continues to provide for the underprivileged impacted from the pandemic and any natural disasters, and also provide training and employment opportunities for graduates and youth to ensure all of them are marketable in the current market situation, which is currently happening in UUM, where the Maybank Group, in collaboration with UUM, organizes a certain event that is open for all students to shape themselves to a better person as they venture into the working field in the coming future. Lastly, for the employees, Maybank Group then includes their very own employees' well-being and safety as their first and main priority, along with upskills and also reskill through continuous learning and development for a better future, not only for the employee but also the better future of the Maybank Group. Next up is internal. In terms of governance, we can see that Maybank continues to make effort to reinforce and improve their practices and culture through policies, awareness campaign, and training, especially on crucial subjects like data privacy and protection, regulatory compliance, corporate ethics, and human rights awareness throughout the group. As for the environment, we can analyze that this is consistent with the region's increased emphasis on ESG, which is reflected in national goals and promises to create more sustainable economies, where Maybank focuses on aligning the risk and objectives with the sustainable development goals for a better environment future. In terms of products and services, these issues are addressed in M25 Plus strategy, where Maybank continues to make investment in improving their technological infrastructure to support the creation of hyper-personalized solutions that can support the lifestyle and needs of customers while enabling a quicker, simpler, and more accessible access to Maybank financial products. Next, we move on to the external, where first up is economic uncertainty. Maybank analytical skills and tools have been improved to support data-driven decision-making by consistently providing recommendations and customized programs to find new revenue resources and manage their portfolio, delivering actionable risk intelligence, where they actively follow the state of the economy and adjust the portfolio and business plan of the group. The next one, escalating geopolitical risk. Maybank has an improved communication system that offers pertinent information about dangers and opportunities in time to make better decisions by realigning the portfolio and business strategy of the group in response to geopolitical events. In terms of technological and digital disruptions, Maybank continue in the development of cyber protection, technical capabilities, and IT infrastructure ecosystem, which is necessary to maintain operational resilience and prevent systemic disruptions, where Maybank kept an eye on the effectiveness and sufficiency of the IT controls as well as any new or emerging IT risks related to the digital acceleration. Next up, rising operational challenges. Maybank experiences growing operational difficulties brought on by client preferences shifting towards digital channels, goods, and services. Maybank has to come up with new methods for working agilely, which is by increasing engagement of other parties. Lastly, in terms of increasing sustainable expectation, we can analyze that Maybank has started the process of creating a climate risk policy to set the strategy for addressing climate risk, to encourage the creation of sustainable products and evaluate whether clients qualify for sustainable financing. A framework for sustainable product was established.
Good morning, doctor. My name is Limweni and my metric number is 280607. Today, I will discuss about the techniques to identify and analyze the risk factors and the risk metric. The first technique to identify and analyze the risk factor is the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a method that consists of 4 areas, which are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It is extremely useful to identify the risks in the larger organization background. It can also be combined with the brainstorming methods in discovering and documenting the risks. So analysis is mostly applied in the strategic decision-making process. It can encourage the management to modify the several environmental factors from the strengths and weaknesses areas which will directly affect the Maybank. The second technique is COSO EIM framework. EIM framework offers key principles and concepts, a common language, and clear guidance and directions related to the control of the enterprise risk to the companies. Maybank can fulfill its internal control requirements throughout the EIM framework and approach a more complete risk management process. EIM is also helpful in identifying, assessing, and managing its risks even though they are facing uncertainty. Throughout EIM, Maybank can assess its risk on an enterprise-wide basis. By applying EIM, Maybank can assess and monitor its risk from a high-level or portfolio perspective. Under the risk metric, one of the extreme risks of Maybank is the credit risk. Since the flood hit Johor during the first quarter of the year 2023, the borrowers in Johor will have to spend lots of money for the repayment and the maintenance of the furniture and also for some basic needs. Therefore, the risk of not receiving the payment or delay of payments will increase, so the credit risk will frequently occur. Next, it will create severe impacts because the default of several key borrowers will lead to huge losses, and in the worst case, it will result in a bank insolvency. The next extreme risk is operational risk. Operational risk is frequent because it involves daily operation of business activity. Next, the mismanagement of the operational risk may cause the fraud to occur through a breaching a bank cybersecurity. As a result, the bank will lose their capital and trust from their customers. Once the bank's image has been damaged, it will be more difficult for them to attract the deposits and the investor in the future. Therefore, the impact of operational risk on Maybank is major. The next one is the political risk. Political risk is also an extreme risk which will occur frequently due to the rising of the political uncertainty resulting in the 15th of the general election that was held in November 2022. Besides, the political risk will weaken the business and the consumers' confidence, and consequently, it will slow down the credit growth. The investor will also afraid or refuse to invest in the bank due to the political financial instability. So the political risk has major impact. The last extreme risk of Maybank is the liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is the risk that cannot be easily offset or remove the position at the market price because of the insufficient market depth or market disruption. However, Maybank has employed the BNM's liquidity framework and the leading practice to manage and assess its liquidity risk exposure. So, the liquidity risk is likely to occur. On the other hand, if the Maybank's delays in offering the cash to their customers, other depositors will rush to withdraw their deposits because they will lose their confidence towards Maybank. This situation will further reduce the ability of Maybank to offer their funds, and this will cause a bank run that will result in bankruptcy. So the liquidity risk will cause severe impacts to Maybank. One of the high risks of Maybank is the market risk. This is because the market conditions are dynamic and hard to predict, so the market risk is frequent. The market risk has moderate impacts because it will reduce the Maybank's financial profitability and potentially weaken its assets quality. That's all for me, and thank you.
Good day, Doctor. I will continue the presentation with the response towards significant risks. After we have identified the risks, we need to respond to them whether to manage, accept, avoid, or transfer those risks. The first, credit risk, and each should be managed. Maybank will always face credit risk because one of its main activities is to lend money to customers. Maybank can set a standard in lending money and always monitor the loan portfolio to evaluate any changes in the financial health of the borrowers and take necessary actions. The second is the strategic risk, and Maybank should manage. The strategic risk could arise from the decision of the directors to achieve the organization's objectives. And Maybank needs to have proper strategic planning that helps them to develop and implement strategies that align with the organization's objective. And it is also to avoid any wastage of resources such as the money and time. The third risk is the money laundering risk, and Maybank should manage. A financial institution may be used by the criminal to perform money laundering. The reputation of bank could be harmed, and it will reduce the confidence of the public to the bank. And Maybank needs to have a good strategy to detect and prevent money laundering to reduce its consequences. The next risk is the market conduct risk, and Maybank should manage. Maybank needs to ensure that its business activity is conducted in an appropriate and ethical way, and that it does not place its own interest over the customer's interest. And Maybank needs to have good internal control, policies, or ethical standards that could reduce the market conduct risk. The last risk is the cybersecurity risk, and Maybank should manage. The issues that arise due to the cybersecurity could decrease the trust of citizens in the bank and affect the bank's reputation. Maybank needs to have a cybersecurity system that could guard against any type of cyber attack to prevent loss due to the cybersecurity risk. So that's all from me, and it is the end of our presentation. Thank you.